Hi everyone, this is Prashad Parthiban. Today I'm going to cover different lines of business under commercial insurance. To start with, commercial property. If I have a company and I have my own building and personal property that is going to help my business, then I will need commercial property to have a required coverage for my property, which could be buildings or personal property. Second LOB is business income. As we all know, all this property that we have, like personal property or building, is going to help us in having some kind of income. Say if I have a scenario where my property is damaged, then for the next 3 to 4 months I cannot run my business. So in those scenarios, commercial property is not going to give us adequate coverage. So in those scenarios, we need business income, which will make sure that any income that I've been getting on a regular basis, if it got interrupted for a certain number of months or years, so this business income insurance will give required coverage. Third one is commercial crime. So we could have a scenario where I have an employee who have done some kind of illegal activities like theft or something like that, or we could have crime activities like alteration or fraud. So in those scenarios, we cannot use either commercial property or business income. We need to have a specialized insurance called commercial crime, which will take care of all these crime activities. It can be either employee specific crimes or anything outside, like computer fraud or anything. So this commercial crime will be taking care of those. Equipment breakdown. So if I have a mechanical or electrical breakdown, or my boiler breakage due to some accidental damage, then most of the commercial property do not give required coverage because of the nature of the loss. So we need to have a separate insurance called equipment breakdown to cover those loss exposures. Loss exposures is nothing but anything that is exposed to loss. Inland marine. So we have seen commercial property which takes care of personal property within the building. But say if you have a property which is almost in transportation, like if you take a business where we have a cameraman who uses his camera to go to different places and shoot the videos, marriage videos or something like that. So this is why we use inland marine, like any personal property which is in transit within the rail or bus or any kind of transportation, we use inland marine. Ocean marine is similar to inland marine. This is whereas any property that gets traveled in the ship or any water related areas. General liability. So we know commercial property is going to be first party, which covers the building as well as personal property. General liability is used for covering third party, if your company is there and as a result of any product that you manufacture, if some third party got damaged, though you use the general liability. So it can be anything, like if you have a customer who comes to your office and then he fell on your floor due to wet floor, then you can use general liability. Anything that is where you are liable for, where a third party got damaged, as a result you have to make a required payment. Commercial auto. So we all know personal auto is something that covers my own car. Commercial auto is going to cover any car that are used for business purpose. So you have a company and you have to transport your goods and you have your own truck, then you use commercial auto lines of business. Workers' compensation. So if I have a company where I have my employees who are working for my company, due to something that happened within my work location, if my employee is injured, then I have workers' compensation. Employers' liability. So we have set of statistics which are covered by workers' compensation. If I have an employee who got injured in my work, workers' compensation is going to cover. There are scenarios where workers' compensation will not cover. Like say if I have an employee who got injured during his work due to a faulty machinery, then this employee sues the company who developed this machinery. In turn, the machinery guy will sue the employer. So those kind of scenarios will be not covered by workers' compensation, but it will be covered by employers' liability insurance. Business owners. So we have seen commercial property which covers first party, like our own building or personal property. We have seen general liability which covers a third party, like as a negligence of our company, if somebody else gets impacted, this will be used. Business owners is like combination of both commercial property and general liability. It's kind of more a homeowner structure, but it covers both personal first party as well as third party. But there are some restrictions. Only if the business is a small level business, we'll use business owners policy. If it's a large sized business, we'll still use the commercial property and general liability. Farm insurance, we know, you have seen in farms where I am a own home and also run my farm business, where I have bonds and other stuff where I store my agricultural items. In those scenarios, we need to have a separate farm insurance because the kind of loss exposure is unique to themselves. Umbrella. So most of the liability policies will have a limit 1 million or 5 million, but sometimes the loss exposure could be more, that they needed more limits. So in those scenarios, we use umbrella insurance. It's a kind of excess liability policy, where if you don't think that the existing liability will be helping you, you need to go to umbrella policy to increase your liability limits. Professional liability. We have seen this a lot of places, where if I have a doctor or lawyer, due to their negligence in their work, if something happens to the third party, their customers, then we use professional liability. Commercial general liability will give a little amount of coverages, but to make sure that they have required coverages, they will go to professional liability. Anything that happens due to their error in the professional work, we'll use this professional liability insurance. Environmental and aircraft. So environmental is where if you have a company, as a result of your negligence in your company where you released a gas or something else that polluted the entire environment accidentally, then you can use environmental insurance. Aircraft is for general aircraft private passenger vehicles or private passenger aircrafts or any other aircraft. If you have any loss exposures, you can use aircraft insurance. Cyber insurance, we have seen nowadays a lot of cyber attack happening through internet. So in those scenarios, since the loss exposure is itself unique, we use cyber insurance. Terrorism, if something happens as a result of a terrorism acts, most of the policies excludes them, but there are certain insurance who gives terrorism insurance with a lot of restrictions, with a lot of limitations. So pretty much these are the different LOBs I was planning to cover. I hope you like my training videos. If you like my training videos, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a great day. Bye bye.